Noelia, how are you?
How are you? Great. And you? Now better.
Fine, thank you. I think now we have better connection. Let's try. Sorry
No.
for that. These are life problems with the internet, but I think now it will work better. Let's try. Let's try. How are you, Noelia?
I'm fine. Here it's sunny, so great. And you over there?
Fine, thank you. Last time you had a little accident, that's why we couldn't connect with the microwave.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
Are you completely recovered?
Yes, I'm full charged, so we can talk about any matter and with full recharge. So yes, and today we are talking about something that is a little bit new and that creates a lot of confusions in people because they are like similar permits, residence permits, which is arraigo and familiar de comunitario, which allows people, family that are related to Spanish or European citizenships to stay here under residence permit. And we are going
Yes.
to explain the difference, the advantages of each one, and explain the recent changes.
Yeah, exactly. So what I see with my consultations is that there's still people, okay? So there are two things. One is, as Noelia said, the law has changed. It's not changed. They have add some possibilities, okay? So there are more permits now for family members, which is called arraigo familiar. So arraigo familiar has always existed, but now there are some more situations that go through arraigo familiar, very similar to family members, so there is confusion, there is not clear, it's not clear for some people which one to pick, or if they can choose one or the other. And on the other hand, I still see people that they don't understand the difference between stable couple, registered couple, and marriage. So they still think that maybe if they are a stable couple, which by a stable couple we define this as a couple that they have been in a relationship for a year. So they still don't know that they can get a residency permit because they are a couple, they've been a couple for a year, even if they are not registered anywhere, or there are people married to a Spanish or a European Union citizen, but especially to a Spanish citizen, that they haven't registered the marriage, and they think they should wait for the marriage to be registered in order to apply for residency in Spain, which is something that is not like that. And really registering the marriage, Noelia, because you are in charge of that, takes very long. So maybe the difference between waiting and not waiting sometimes is 9 months, something like that, and you don't really need to wait for the marriage to be registered. This is important for Spain to apply for Spain and to apply from the consulates, because usually the consulate, sometimes depending on the consulate, they tell you that you can't if you are not registered, but that
Exactly.
is not true. Of course you can. You are in all the right to come as a family member without register, well, with the marriage in process of registration, which takes time. So in Spain, when you apply from Spain, because you can choose, you can apply from Spain because you can come as a tourist, that is clear, okay, because in immigration in Spain, they already know this. If you have to go to the consulate because you need a visa, sometimes the consulate will tell you that no, that you need to wait for the registration, and that is not true. And if you want to come and if you need to come, we just need to fight for this right that you have, because it's a right. So, okay, all of these things I think we can address today. We can speak we try to have a theme to speak about, but really we do every kind of immigration permit. If you have questions about any other things, we can speak about any other things. We try to just set a theme so we can be focusing something a little more in depth for people that are in that situation. So, well, Noelia, what we should start with the difference between registered couple and stable couple, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's fine. Here in Spain, we have and almost every country we have different kind of things. A stable couple, which is not registered anywhere, and a registered couple. Here in Spain, you can get registered with your couple in the city. And if you are a registered couple here in Madrid, for example, you are not a registered couple in Valencia because it's for cities, not for the country. But it's important because that gives you the right to ask for a residence permit. En familiar de comunitario, I will start by that. We have two kind of permits, familiar de comunitario, which allows relatives of European citizens to come here and get a residence permit, and arraigo, which only allows for the spouse or the couple of a Spanish person. So that's an important difference. And
Yes, so this is the
couple, for example.
sorry. Yes, so this is the new thing in the law. So there was a lot of problems with family members of European Union citizens or Spanish citizens that couldn't get the permit because they didn't have financial means or they couldn't prove them. So, for example, parents of a Spanish citizen that depends because that was the requirement, the parent to depend on their sons or the daughters economically. So sometimes was this situation, but we couldn't prove it. For example, Venezuela is very difficult to send money for the parents. So sometimes they were giving the money to family members, to neighbors, to whoever who could give it to the parents. And this for immigration was impossible to prove that the parents were depending on their children or on their son or daughter. So we couldn't apply for the family member. Or just because the private insurance was a very difficult thing for the family member. So in the family member, they were asking for an insurance for the parents. If the parents had pre-existing conditions, or I don't know, they are very, very old, something like that, was impossible to get a private insurance. If it was impossible to get a private insurance, we were missing a requirement, so we couldn't get the permit. So these were major problems to get the permit, and now with the arraigo familiar, we can get this permit because they don't ask to show that the parents depend on their son or daughter if the parent is older than 65 years old, exactly. And also they are not asking for the private insurance, which this is something that is making a huge difference to get the permit, because really it's not under our hands to get a private insurance if the company doesn't want to cover these parents. So you have the two options, okay? It's not that you need to choose. So for the arraigo familiar, for example, for your parents, okay, because you are Spanish, your parents, because you have became Spanish, maybe because of the Ley de Memoria Democrática, that Noelia is doing a lot. So now you want to bring your parents. And you tell us, what should I choose? Should I choose the family member permit or should I choose the arraigo familiar? Well, depends, because requirements are different, especially with the criminal record. So exactly. So for the family member, the normal family member permit, they don't ask for criminal records for your parents, for example, but for the arraigo familiar, they ask for the criminal record. So depends. If you meet all the requirements to show that your parents depend economically on you, and you have a private insurance, maybe it's more comfortable the normal family member, the one that we have always used. But if this is a problem, we need to get criminal records for your parents, but it's going to be much more comfortable to do the arraigo familiar. If you are getting problems to get the private insurance, or you have problems to show the dependency, right, Noelia?
It's a huge advantage, and it's been great. I mean, both of the permits are great because they grant you 5 years of residence permit in the most of the cases, and you can work with that. So if you're a family member, you're here, you can work under the both of them. And the most of
The problem about the arraigo familiar, so the one that we say that they don't ask for so many things, but they ask for criminal records. The problem I see about that is if you need a visa, because the arraigo familiar is designed to be applied in Spain, through Spain, so not by the consulate. You need your parents to arrive to Spain, and when they arrive to Spain, we have to apply. So this is a problem from the countries that they ask for a visa to enter to Spain, because we will just have to go for the family member. Really, it should be a way to go, because if you read the law, the consulate shouldn't ask for the dependency for the visa. Okay, it's just the family member permit in Spain that the immigration should study the economic dependency. But in the reality, that is not that way. When you go to the consulate to apply for a family member visa, they already ask for the dependency, right, Noelia? So that is a problem. A problem because if we are in Spain, we can choose between both permits. If you cannot enter in Spain because you need a visa to enter, it's going to be something tough to get, because they are going to ask for all the requirements that we need. So it's like arraigo familiar doesn't exist if you need to enter to Spain and you can't as a tourist. That is the problem that I see, right, Noelia?
Yeah, I think it's a major problem here with consulates and Spain and doing directly here. And yeah, I think that's a bigger problem. The good thing about the both of them is that they have no deadline. For example, we have talked about
yeah, that is very very good data. Yes.
So in Nomad Visa, for example, you have to apply in the 90 days when you first enter in a neighbor Schengen country. And here in both permits, you don't have a deadline. You enter and you can apply whenever you want. We always advise to do it as soon as possible because they take a little bit to resolve the administration, but you don't have a deadline. You can apply whenever you want.
That is true, and it's a very good point, Noelia, because it's something that, so for example, if you are going to do the one as marriage, okay, you want to get married, people are worried about getting married in Spain, so coming into Spain, getting married in Spain, and apply for the family member because they are going to overstay. No problem. You can get married. Getting married is going to normally it's going to be 3 months or a little more. You know that you can. Yes,
Exactly.
exactly. So getting married, you can choose in getting married in a registered office and getting married in a notary. Normally, it's going to be faster in the notary, okay? But it depends on the registered office that you are empadronado, okay? So maybe you are in a little village and it's very quick. That's perfect. But people are worried about overstay the 3 months in order to get married and then get the family member permit. No problem at all. The family members are very protected, are the most protected ones. So even to do the arraigo familiar, that is maybe because you don't have financial means, or to do the normal family member, you can do it even if you have overstay, I don't know, 6 months, 1 year. Don't worry, you can do it. So this is very good, and it's a very good point from Noelia, because something that they are very worried about. In any case, there are some strategies if you don't want to overstay. People there are some that they don't feel comfortable overstaying because maybe they have to travel and they want to they don't want to overstay. Then we can always choose another residency. For example, non-lucrative. You can enter with a non-lucrative. You can get married to a family member, to your husband, wife, and then do the family member and switch. Or you can come do a student permit while you are getting married. You can study Spanish or whatever, and then switch to family member. So there are these two options, or overstaying if you need, because it takes longer to get married, which will not be a problem. But if you don't feel comfortable with that situation, we can pick any other permit, and once you are married, switch. Why? Because normally you have more benefits with the family member. So the family member allows you to work as an employee, work as a freelance, not work. So it's like a very good one. If you decide to come as a non-lucrative, you are not going to be able to work. So that's why you will come with a non-lucrative and then switch to a family member. So this is, I always say, this is the good thing about talking to a lawyer, is that there is no only one possibility. There are many options, many immigration status that you can get, and you can keep switching depending at the moment that you are, and with the needs that you have. Because if you tell me that you don't need to work, I tell you come with an unlucrative. Maybe if you tell me that you are going to get married but you need to work, maybe I tell you let's do a nomad visa, and when you get married we switch to a family member. So there are a lot of possibilities, right? And you always see them, Noelia.
We have a lot of options, and it only depends of what the people want and what are the requirements. And as I know, I said, we always have strategies, and we can talk and discuss and find a solution. But these permits are really great. As we have said, it gives 5 years of residence permit, and if you are married, for example, to a Spanish citizenship, you can apply for the residency for the citizenship after 1 year of.
Yeah, that is very important. Not couple, okay? Because you can be a stable couple or a registered couple and having the family member permit, but that is not applicable for the citizenship. If you really want the Spanish citizenship, is just marriage, okay? So you have to be married for a year, and with the marriage registered in Spain. So imagine you have got married outside, the year doesn't count until you register the marriage. Of course, you can get it under the 2 years of residency if you are from Latin America, or 10 years. But if you want the reduced time of 1 year of being married to a Spanish citizen, then you have to be married, not a couple, and with the marriage registered in Spain.
Yes, with
very good, Noelia.
They are not as flexible as we want with the registered couple. They only reduce the time in married couple, as I know well said. But if you don't want to get the Spanish citizenship, if you are under, I know, arraigo, you later can get the long-term residency that it's for the entire life. And if you have family member permit, you can do the permanent residency. So after the 5 years, you can apply for those, and then you have all your life with the permit. So
Yeah, that is something, yeah, very important that people don't have very clear. So the long-term residency, the one that you get, or permanent residency, depending on the situation that you are, that you get after 5 years, it is very, very good because it's just for your whole life. Imagine that you go back to your country for 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Doesn't matter. When you come back, you just have to submit criminal records again, just because Spain want to verify why you were so long outside, okay? But if this was not a problem, you submit these criminal records and they give you back this residency permit with a work permit. So it's a very good goal also for your children. Normally, when you sometimes you are here as an expat. But if you reach the 5 years, it's very good to apply for this permit because then maybe you go back to your country with your children, and when they are old and they want to come to work to Spain, they will already have a work permit in Spain. So that this is a huge advantage.
Exactly. Because we always say, even if you are not, I don't know, interested in something, you have to think about your children, because when a parent do a residence permit, they make more flexible for the children, and it's important for them in the future. So yes, it's very important. And I think, I don't know what we can more say.
Yeah, let me explain, because I see a lot of doubts about this, about a stable couple and registered couple. For us, it's very, very simple. But I see that the concepts outside are difficult because sometimes even a registered couple doesn't exist. So the problem in our immigration law and in our legislation is that, as Noelia said, the registration of the couple depends on the city that you are in, and every city has different requirements, okay? For example, Madrid and Barcelona, that are the biggest cities in Spain. In Madrid, you have to be living together for a year in order to register your couple. While in Barcelona, you don't need this. You go to the notary to register your couple, but they don't ask you to be living for a year in Barcelona in order to register a couple. So this means that people, depending on where they live, they have different rights, because if you are a couple but you haven't been for a year living together in Madrid would be impossible for you to apply for the family member. That's why there is also the stable couple permit. Imagine that you are coming from the UK, living together as boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever for a year, okay? But you don't have anything. You are a stable couple. If we can show, not because you register the couple, but because you have evidences of living together for a year, trips, the same apartment, witnesses, bank,
whatever.
Yes, it helps. Yes, it helps a lot also if you have some bank account together that they love to see that. Okay, so this will allow you to apply for the family member directly. You don't have to wait for a year and think in other permit. If we can show that you've been a couple for a year, even if it's not registered anywhere, but living together, which is not that easy sometimes to show, okay? But if you can show it, we will be able to apply for the family member permit, and you will be able to work from the beginning or be a freelance from the beginning, or all the advantages that a family member permit has. So it's very important because people still don't understand that they don't have to become pareja de hecho. The registered couple in Spain is called pareja de hecho. You don't need to become a pareja de hecho if you have a strong evidence about your relationship, okay? This is important, for example, as I say in Madrid. In Barcelona, maybe I'm going to recommend you to become pareja de hecho because it's just easier, because it's not difficult to become pareja de hecho, and for immigration it's much easier, just they see the pareja de hecho and they don't need so many evidences, but that will depend in your situation and where you live, and we will decide what is your best option. No, Noelia?
And it's important because at first, as I know, I said it has been a change in the arraigo, and at first you couldn't do it if you were a couple or a spouse. But yesterday we saw an approval of
Exactly.
Of a couple that were not registered with arraigo, and that has never happened before. So we hope that that allows in all the cities here in Spain to do the arraigo with not registered couple, only stable couples, also with the arraigo, and not only with family members.
Remember, what will be if you are a couple? If you are a couple of a Spanish citizen, what will be? You will have these two options, okay? Family member or arraigo familiar. So, which one to pick, which one to choose, depends on your situation.
Exactly.
If you're exactly, and if you're a Spanish citizen couple is not working, for example, and doesn't have savings, so it's not exactly, you are not strong in the requirement of financial means, then you pick arraigo. What will be the difference? That you will need to bring criminal records, okay? So it's not, sometimes it's not one, or so it's not just one that you can pick both. Maybe it's easier for you to just show financial means than family member, but if it's not easy for you to show financial means or to get a private insurance, and it's easier for you to get criminal records, then it's arraigo. So it depends on your situation. Normally, the huge difference is with parents, okay, because of the private insurance. But as Noelia said, a couple can also choose between arraigo familiar and family member. I don't want to give huge information because this is very new for people and they get mixed. I think we have covered. Do you think we should explain something else, Noelia, about family members or arraigo familiar?
No, only that in family members, when you are a couple, a stable couple, and not a registered one, instead of getting 5 years, you get 2. Is the only difference. But then you can renew it as well, and we can still do it. And with the arraigo, the only difference is that if you are children of Spanish people, you only get the residency for 1 year, and then you have to switch. But the rest is for 5 years. So it's only
okay. And remember, the arraigo familiar, you also get a work permit, okay? Don't worry about that. But it's true that you have to switch after 1 year, right?
You have to switch.
That is if it's a couple. For the parents, they give it for 5 years, no? Or
parents 5 years, but when you are children of a Spanish parent, we will recommend a family member because in arraigo they give you for 1 year.
Exactly. So you see the differences. You have to really study your situation and see what is going to be better for you, to get it for 5 years, to get it for 1, or maybe it doesn't matter for you and it's fine, and then you get the 5 years, of course, if it doesn't matter the one or the other.
Exactly.
Okay, Noelia, thank you very much. I think it's a half an hour. I don't like to talk a lot more of half an hour because I went, now I'm here, no? Again,
Yes.
sorry.
No.
That I didn't talk about more, but leave us our questions, okay? This is live now, but we went late and we have to switch the link and all that, so maybe you haven't seen us live, but you can leave questions and we can answer after or do another live or whatever, or share your experience. Look, I did this, but I have this problem at the consulate. This is very useful for the community, for us to know where we are having problems. We know normally, because when you have problems you contact us, but it's very good that we all share good things and bad things, so we know, okay, this works and this doesn't work.
And also, if you want to follow us in our Instagram, in Eastern Abogados, we always upload short videos with the most specific content, so you can see it not as long as we are here, so you can find the information if you want. Eastern Abogados, just as our logo shows, and we will so pleased to help you as well.
Okay. Perfect. So thank you very much, Noelia. We continue. Maybe next week we do it in Spanish, because also this is applicable for Spanish speaking. This is a question that they ask me a lot. So if the law, there are different permits, for example, for a U.S. citizen than for a Chinese citizen. No, really, they are all the same. Okay, so if that. There are some difference with Chile and Peru, that they have an extra option to work in Spain, but in addition to that, all the law is the same for all the citizens all around the world.
Exactly.
So we will explain this in Spanish, because all of the Spanish-speaking countries, and then we can speak about anything. Let us your comments, let us your recommendations, what you want to know about, and we will speak about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Noah. Have a great day.
Thank you, Noelia. Bye.